Hello and welcome to the video where nothing is as it appears. The weapons saying they give you damage don't give you damage, and the ring saying that they give you damage heals you. Let's jump into what exactly is broken and no rest for the wicked. So yeah, everything in this video is more gameplay related and doesn't go into terrain glitches and crashes or the like. First, let's take a look at what stats don't currently work. Right now, only appearing on agility rings and one unique weapon, the attack speed stat, is first in this section. Everything else on the agility ring works, but even with around 50% extra attack speed, weapon swings will not swing any faster if you equip these rings. On a similar note, overall speed also does not work. It is similar to attack speed, but different because on the agility rings, the movement speed stat does actually work, but with overall speed, it is meant to give you movement speed and attack speed, but neither works. You will not gain any movement or attack speed from overall speed. And lastly in the stat section is focus gain. So this stat kind of works. Let me explain. The way the game is scaling the focus gain stat is strange, and the stat also only works in one way, which is direct hits. So here you'll see that I get 27% focus gain from a helmet that actually has 32% focus gain from a topaz and the focus gain stat itself. This might be a case of additive scaling, but then when I equip bands of calmness, every single percentage of focus gain is given. And as I mentioned, the stat only works with direct hits, so it doesn't give you extra focus with focus potions or extra focus from the topaz in your legs. So the stat is either not working 100% correctly or is misleading. The second section is all about items. Now, would you believe me if I told you none of the unique items work? Well, I can show you. I'll try to get through these at a decent speed here, as there's quite a few of them. The Proud Lance doesn't give you 100% less damage, it just takes the electric portion of your damage away when you take damage. Instead of cutting my damage in half like it suggests, it resulted in about 37% less damage for me. The mods on Falstad's Fury doesn't work either, with the damage to larger enemies not working, and damage to enemies on full life not working either. The Fallen Sky Staff mod that gives more damage on max focus doesn't work. I tried testing to increase my maximum focus amount, and also having full focus, and nothing worked. The Fetid Club is supposed to give more damage depending on how encumbered you are, but doesn't. The damage increase when enemies are on low life on Sinew doesn't work. The damage increase on Midnight Blade when enemies are affected by cold doesn't work. I tested this both while the enemy was affected by cold and frozen just in case. I already mentioned Bleeder's Delight earlier, but the attack speed doesn't work on it, and the only thing that works on the Wind of Death katana is that you lose 2% life per hit you deal. The stamina decrease for dodges doesn't work, and the damage increase, the lower life you are, doesn't work. So enough about unique weapons. I also wanted to mention something about normal weapons that is a little strange. Many weapons just straight up don't have power or dash attacks. It seems as if the devs maybe wanted to just include a bunch of weapons, but didn't have enough time to finish them before they released early access. Which is kind of reminiscent of the rings that have weird tooltips. And speaking of the rings, looking at the Thistle Ring, it just does not do what it is meant to do at all. It actually just has the exact same effect as the Crow's Ring without the health penalty. Okay, moving into the final section, and it's going to be about game mechanics. Somebody please tell me why ledge jumping is so inconsistent. I will be so anxious to jump over gaps because I'm scared my character will just decide not to jump. Something I think we can all agree on is the lock-on system. Whatever AI is controlling my lock-on system must have ADHD because it does not want to settle on one thing. I've tried both having auto lock-on enabled and disabled, but I don't like either option. Enchanting right now is inconsistent in that if you enchant a weapon that already comes with additional runes, like the False Truth Staff or the Fallen Sky Staff, it will keep the runes when enchanted. Fallen Sky Staff will even become the legendary version when enchanted. If you actually look at the item itself, it will look like they're missing the runes, but then when you go to use the abilities themselves, they're actually still there. And as of the most recent patch, you can now abuse bow attacks to get infinite focus. Bow attacks now cost stamina instead of focus, but if you look at the bow attack, it says specifically on the rune that it costs 0 focus. I guess the game is still counting it as a focus spender, and it's just spending 0, because when you use it, it triggers the topaz in your legs, and you can just shoot arrows and fill up your focus to your heart's content. Next, some glitches with bosses. You can completely brick your Echo Knight fight by making him fall into the void below. This happened to me quite recently. He was on the very edge and then was winding up an attack, which made him backstep ever so slightly, which sent him tumbling down. And the final thing on the list, I saved till last, because I want to talk about this a little bit here. There's a weird glitch happening when you break an enemy's poise enough times. If you do it enough times, every single hit will stagger the boss. The amount of times you need to break the poise varies. For the twins, after 4 poise breaks, every single hit was staggering the boss. For phase 1 of Echo Knight, it took me 6 poise breaks, and then the last hit combo of my attacks and also dash attacks were staggering the boss. But after 7 poise breaks, punches then start to stagger the boss as well. For phase 2, it took 8 poise breaks for dash attacks to stagger the boss, and 9 poise breaks for punches to start staggering. I'm not too sure what's happening here. I discovered this while doing an unarmed only run, which you can check out if you want to enjoy some memes. I'm sure most people will just have killed the boss before they poise break the boss this amount of times, so it's probably why it's not really been discovered yet. I think it's definitely tied to poise breaks and nothing to do with health or anything else. As you can see how high the boss's health is when this happens, and it immediately takes effect after the magical number of poise breaks. And that is everything that I know of that's broken in the game at the moment. Let everyone know in the comments what else you guys know of that is currently broken in the game, and I'll see you next time.